What's up, YouTube? Coach Kai here. It's a pleasure to be with you guys one more time. And I've been so excited to show you guys everything in this video because I'm pretty sure this is going to help tons of people again, just like my first video did, um, which is how to lose 10% of your body weight and pack on muscle in 180 days or less. It's another great video that you guys should be watching, but this one specifically will show you how to create your own diet with your own body weight for your own goals using door as an example. And I'm going to be showing everything we did step by step. It's going to be a shorter video this time, but you're going to learn how to create your own diet from scratch. So stay with me until the end of this video because there's tons of value in this, and you're going to learn so much, and you're going to be able to be shredded at least by Christmas. Maybe it didn't work for you to be shredded this summer, but by the end of the year, if you apply everything you're going to learn here, I can guarantee you can look 10 times better than you look right now. So Dor was already like doing everything right on paper, great work ethic, and but to a body that didn't match his discipline, right? He was doing everything right, but his body was lacking that discipline. Uh, and Dor was a high performing entrepreneur, disciplined, systematic, results driven at work, but his body told a different story. So this is exactly so everything that I'm going to be showing here is how Dor lost 15 pounds in 6 months by applying the same logic he used in business to his diet. So nutrition was a big problem for him. He didn't know how to put a macro-based diet all together. So by everything he did here today, I did something custom made for him, obviously, because I'm not a cookie cutter coach. So we did something custom made for his goals, and he was able to transform his body, his entire life. Right, Dora now is more successful, and now that same discipline that he was like applying for his work, you can see in his body. So his entire lifestyle matches now, right? His body matches his work ethic and everything all together. So let's go to the next slide. I want to show you guys something here. So the man before at work, system, consistency, real discipline, calendar dialed in, uh, output strong, results undeniable. In his body, brain fogged on the commute home. Dora was eating like bullshit throughout the whole day, was snacking. So he needed a plan. Without it, he wouldn't be able to get shredded like he did. Well, we're gonna get there. Walking past mirrors and looking away, watching leaner, sharper coworkers and filling the quiet gap. So he could see like some of his coworkers, which weren't like a lot because hello, not everybody's the 1%er, right? It's hard to be part of that 1% of people who are in shape. And Bador, he saw himself with that body, like the body that he dreamed of, right? So he tried before, random effort, no structure, no plan. He tried everything without a plan. So it would be really hard for him. A year could pass by and nothing will change because willpower without direction isn't a system. A lot of people have the willpower, but without the system, they're not going to get to their results. And it was the same with Thor. He had the willpower, but he had no idea what to eat. He didn't have the structure, so he was already showing up in the gym. It's not like he wasn't trying. He was trying. He had the determination, to achieve that goal. But without the diet, it was almost impossible. So he couldn't outtrain a bad diet. So going forward, the real problem here. So this is Dor. This is how Dor looked, right? So Dor, it was never about motivation. So he didn't need the motivations. He needed the structure, the plan, the data. Dor knew how to build a system, track numbers, watch data just based on results. He did it every day at work. But with his own diet, he'd be winging it, which is what a lot of you do, right? You guys are winging it. You're guessing the numbers. You don't take the time to prioritize your body and weigh your food. So no tracking, no plan, just hoping consistent would show up on its own, and it never did for him. That's the pattern for almost every high performing guy, right? Discipline pointed everywhere except the one place that would sustain all of it. Nutrition becomes the thing that you deal with someday until someday stops coming. So you're waiting for nutrition to figure out on its own, and it never does, because you're the one that needs to uh, take control and track, have a structure, and get to your goals as and it's gonna be faster than you think. When you change your nutrition, your body like will become a machine and will change so fast. You have no idea. And the turning point for him. So the insight, Dor needed the same thing he already gave his business: an actual system, structure, numbers, a plan that adjusts based on data, right? So he would have the data, so tracking. So when you track your calories, so when you're tracking your all of your numbers, when you weigh the food, when you're in control of everything, you adjust, right? If things are not working, at least you know exactly what you're doing. So that's the main point here. You know exactly what you're doing, so you can actually make adjustments and keep changing your body. So that's what we do. That's me as a coach. I show him the plan, the structure. He does it for 2 3 weeks. If nothing's changing, obviously we make changes, right? Especially if you're doing everything right. If the plan doesn't work, we adjust it. That's how coaching works. So that's why having a coach is so important. So another thing here, so no more eating whenever, whatever. He had a plan. So based on his like schedule, like you would have like his breakfast, his lunch at the right time, and then he would have like another meal after lunch. It was about 4 meals that he would have per day, 4 to 5 meals depending on his like schedule. We started with four, then at some point, like when we were trying to already like when we achieved a good result and he was already at a low body fat percentage, that's when I increased his meals a little bit, because then he would have to eat a little bit more to add more muscle mass. So no more eating whenever, whatever, right? A framework built around his actual body weight and his actual life, not an idealized version with hours to meal prep. So the result, Dor was 171 pounds, and he ended up the whole program, the 6 months, with 156 pounds. So 15 pounds down, not from more willpower, from finally giving his diet the same structure as everything else in his life, right? Everything else in his life was structured except his diet. And look at this guy. Let me move myself to the center here because I'm gonna spend a little time here. So Dor's result at a glance: 171 pounds, like I mentioned, to 156 pounds ending weight. So he lost 15 pounds in 6 months. So look at this guy, shredded, like a completely different person, different look. He was way more confident. Everything changed. So he already had the discipline, the work ethic, but with the nutrition and the proper system, like training system, everything changed for him. He had the cardio protocol, the training protocol, and that physique is after his shoulder surgery, right? And look at his body. It's like it's wow. Like it's actually like amazing to see that when there's a combination of, you know, 50-50, like coach and client working together, meeting like halfway all the time, this is the type of result that we can accomplish together. So Dor, we worked, we communicated as much as possible. We had our calls, monthly calls, always, because we're from the same gym. We're always like talking also in person when we saw each other whenever we could. And communication is key. When you have a coach, if your coach gives you a program, hands you a program, and don't check with you, like unfortunately he's a bad coach, right? You might follow it and it might work because it's a great plan, but if it doesn't have the accountability, the communication, it rarely doesn't work, right? It rarely works. Better like saying it. But yeah, it was pretty much it. Let's go to the next slide because there's more things I want to show you guys. So now we're gonna get to the part that you get to do some math and learn how to create your own diet for you to get shredded, for you to start seeing muscles, for you to make your muscles more visible. So build your own diet. So this is the at home formula, one formula, three numbers done. Plug in your own body weight, no spreadsheets, no tracking, maintenance calories first. Okay. So you're gonna know the calories, then we're gonna go to the protein, then fats, then carbs. Carbs is like whatever left, we fill it up with carbs. Carbs will give you Carbs is your glycogen, will give you the energy for you to lift heavy, for you to go hard in the gym, for you to train, lift, grow, some muscle mass, and have the energy to actually look the way Dora did, right? So carbs will be everything here and will help you train hard. Okay, so the multiplier of 11 is the default for a desk job activity level. So if you work at a desk, you use 11. If your job is active or on your feet all day, use 12 or 13 instead. Okay, so if you're active, start with 12. Always underestimate, because you're trying to get shredded here. Okay, you're not trying to eat more and make yourself happy. Okay, we're gonna find something that works for you together, but you're not trying to just like be happy and eat food, because you want to see results in the mirrors specifically, not just the skill. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So your system starts now. So one formula, three numbers, no guesswork. Apply the same logic you use to run your business and finally build a body that matches your discipline. You deserve a better body because you already have the discipline. You work hard. You show up at work every day. You show up in the gym. You do your weight training properly. You do your cardio properly. But your nutrition fucking sucks. And you're going to fix that right now with me. So stay tuned. All right. So calories, body weight. You're going to do your body weight times 11. Okay, so let's start with the 11. So body weight, protein will be body weight times 1 gram. So 1 gram per pound of body weight. Okay, so fat will be body weight times 0.35 grams. Carbs will be the remaining calories. Okay, so this is what it's gonna look like. So I use Dora's weight, starting weight, 171 pounds times 11. Okay, that's 1,881 calories per day. So that's what Dora was trying to like hit every day. Okay, so this was like right in the beginning. Before I increased that a little bit because I didn't want him like to lose a lot of muscle, so I didn't want to keep the calories too low. So protein is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So obviously 171 grams of protein, and that gives you 684 calories. Why? Because 1 gram of protein and 1 gram of carbs is equivalent to 4 calories. Okay, so it's 171 grams times 4. So that gives 684 calories. Keeps you lean and strong, not just smaller, but you're gonna use your own number. Okay, so you're gonna weigh yourself. You're gonna find out how much you weigh, right? You'll be a different number for everybody. So if I go on my calculator right now and I'm 220 pounds times 11, it's gonna give me 2,420 calories. It's a different number, you see here. And then for my protein intake will be 220 grams of protein, right? And that will give me more calories. So of protein, let's say I was doing my own numbers, so 220 times 4, that would be 880 calories. Okay, so different for everybody. So for fat, I use 171 pounds times 0.35, which is 60 grams of fat, keeping the fat intake low for Dora. And for fats is a little bit different. So 1 gram of fat is equivalent to 9 calories. So it's 60 times 9, equivalent to 540 calories. And then for the carbs, it's the remaining calories. So it's his total uh, calorie per day minus 684 the protein and 600 and 540 for the fats, right? Equals 657 calories divided by 4, which is equivalent to 164 grams of carbs. Okay, so we're gonna have the numbers on the next slide, and I'm gonna show you. So basically, here, plug in your own body weight, and you have Door's exact starting point personalized to you. So I'm using Door's example, but you're gonna have your own numbers, so you can actually get shredded like Door. Okay, and if you do it right and you track everything, I can promise you, your body will be complete. You're gonna be a completely different person in 6 months, even if you're not working with me. So you can do all this for free. So basically, guys, what do we have here? It's very simple. So Door ended up with, remember I said calories, protein, uh, fats, and carbs. So now Door ended up at 1,881 calories. His protein was 171 grams. His carbs were at 164, and his fats were at 60 grams. Okay. So now, doing all this math, you're going to have your total calories, total protein, total carbs, total fats, right? Calories plus macronutrients. All right. So you have everything here, guys, everything you need. And why high performance stay stock? Because you guys usually track everything. So you're tracking KPIs, adjusting strategy. When something goes wrong, you already have all the numbers. So you adjust it and you keep making money, you keep getting rich, and you don't do that for your own body. Your most valuable asset is your body, and you're not doing that. You're leaving your body as an afterthought. The gym, the nutrition sometimes becomes an afterthought, and you don't work for it. You don't work on it, right? Running tight systems every single day, uh, and zero structure at the plate, right? Your work is perfect, but when it comes to your nutrition, zero structure at the plate, hoping nutrition will figure itself out in the gaps between your responsibilities, right? You have responsibilities, you have work, you have your family, your girl, you're trying to, you know, spend quality time with your family, and you even have a structure for your family, you know, like you take 1 hour to give some time to your wife, to your kids at the end of the day before sleep. And sometimes you forget about nutrition, right? But nutrition, you should have been like focusing like for the entire day, and you just didn't give a shit, right? That's what happens sometimes. So the gap, not missing motivation. You're not missing motivation. You're just missing a system. That's why a year passes and nothing changes. I've seen people training for 1 year, 2 years, and they look like the same. Every time I look at them, they look the same because they're showing up, they're training hard, but they don't really have the energy. You know, their energy levels are up and down because they're not focusing on their nutrition. They don't have a structure. They're not following a plan, and they fall off, right? Like they don't see the results that they thought they deserved. So going to the next page. So the takeaway from this, so you track your numbers in business, you adjust based on data, you don't hope your way to a good quarter. Your diet deserves the same approach. So what I've been talking about, uh, this entire video, your body deserves better, right? It's your most valuable asset. And if you think about it, if you think long term and you want to build generational wealth for your family, you got to start thinking long term, because your nutrition, what you put into your body, will matter so much and will definitely give you more longevity, right? You know, things can come along the way. I'm not saying you you're um I'm not saying like nothing will happen to you ever, nothing bad will happen to you, but you staying healthy and having the energy and not being like brain fogged is already a big plus. Trust me. And I know this myself because there were many times where I was like eating, junk food. My body didn't look bad because I still like train hard, but it's just like the way I felt mentally, right? Like always feeling like I wasn't like doing enough, and always feeling frustrated because my nutrition wasn't on point, and obviously I was leaving some results behind, right? I wasn't getting to my full potential, and that was frustrating me. So Waldor proved he didn't need to become a different person, right? Because that entire system fit into his like current lifestyle back then, and he needed to point the discipline he already had in the right direction, right? With numbers built for his real life. So everything was custom made for him, and he was able to achieve that amazing result. What this means for you, if you're an entrepreneur or high performer, you already have the discipline, you built your business, you're already doing great, you're successful, but you prove that in your business, your family, everywhere else except your plate. So focus on your nutrition, because I can guarantee you're gonna change your whole life, your whole body, and you're gonna look amazing. Okay. Well, guys, we got to the end of this video. It was a pleasure to teach you guys all this, and I hope you guys apply. You guys, use your calculator, weigh yourself, get those numbers, and start tracking. If you guys want my full grocery list, it's the same grocery list that I use with my clients for the protein, proper carbs, proper fats. I have a list with more than 10 ingredients for each macronutrient. If you guys want that, DM me on Instagram. I'll send that list straight to your DMs. And if you guys need coaching, I'm Coach Kai, and I'll be more than happy to start a conversation with you to see how I can help. Because with a real structure and a plan, and if you want the variety, I can definitely help you. And will be a pleasure to be working with you. So stay tuned for more videos. Subscribe to my channel, because I'll be posting more videos like this, and I'll be dropping tons of value for you guys. Thank you for staying with me, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.